All right, here we go. So first of
See
all,
everyone.
Jess, I see you
Yeah,
on
you
there.
can't. Excuse.
See if I can hit mute. See if we can mute everybody to get started, and then we'll have you guys hop off. Feel free also to use the chat box as well, and I'll ask my student ambassadors that are on here, the current student ambassadors, to help me kind of monitor the chat room as well. So first of all, I'm AJ Huff. I am one of the lead mentors for the Student Ambassador Program. And this is a program that has grown quite a bit over the last couple of years. We really kicked it off in 2020 when things were weird with recruitment. And it really turned out to be just an awesome way to showcase and highlight your programs that you're all in. And what we found is that students want to hear from students. They want to know what the Butler Tech experience is like directly from students just like them. So what we'd like to talk about today is kind of what the student ambassadors do. I want you guys to meet the campus leaders. So just so you know, there are, when we are fully staffed, if you will, we've got 2 sophomores for each of the sophomore programs. We have 2 juniors and 2 seniors. That rounds us out to just about 100 ambassadors over all 4 campuses. So we're a pretty large group, but I think these guys will also tell you we're a pretty close-knit group when it comes to knowing each other and kind of getting to know students in your own building, but then also you get the opportunity to interact and network with students from across all 4 campuses, which is kind of nice. So again, if you're just hopping on, I am recording. I do want to make sure that I tell you that. And then also just reintroduce myself. I'm AJ, and my full title is actually Public Relations Coordinator. And I do all of the internal and external communications for the district. But my favorite part of the job is getting to work with the student ambassadors. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm looking to see who all I see on here in terms of my campus leaders, but I'm going to go ahead and in this order. And then if I'm not seeing somebody, let me know. But let's do Joshua, Lily, Myra, and Jess. And then if there's any other campus ambassadors, we'll get to them after that. But if you guys could do it in that order, just introduce yourself, tell us your program, your homeschool, and then we'll kind of get started on the ins and outs of student ambassadors. So Joshua?
Like Miss AJ said, my name is Joshua. I'm a student master for information technology. My homeschool is technically Monroe, but I'm homeschooled.
Okay, great. Lily?
Hi, I'm Lily. I'm the campus leader at the Natural Science Center, and I'm in both green engineering and veterinary science. And my homeschool's Hamilton.
Great. I don't think Kyle could make it today. Kyle Smith is our bioscience campus leader, but his right-hand woman right now is Myra. So Myra, will you introduce yourself?
As she said, my name is Myra. My homeschool is Coleraine, and I'm for the Bioscience Center.
Awesome. Jess? Oh, you're still on mute, Jess. I know, it's been a while, right? We haven't done this in a while.
I'm so sorry. Hi, I'm Jess. I'm the student ambassador for the School of the Arts, and I'm the vocal music program, and I'm also from Hamilton.
Awesome. Any other student ambassadors on here? Holler at me if I'm not seeing you right now. Anybody pop in? All right. Nolan may have had. I know our other campus leaders, as I mentioned, Kyle Smith is in healthcare science at the Bioscience Center. He couldn't be here today. And then we do have 2 campus leaders at D. Russell Lee because of the size, and then the Orange and Blue academies. And that Nolan Wagers is in precision machining, and he's one of our other campus leaders. And I'll let one of them talk to you a little bit about, they're brand new in this role, so they really haven't had a ton of experience yet as campus leaders, but I'll kind of let one of them talk to you about that. But let's get started just with the overall. I did get the opportunity to talk to a lot of you when we came around and met either in your classrooms or I talked to some of you in the cafeteria, etc. Really, the Student Ambassador Program is an opportunity. It's definitely a leadership program and an opportunity for you to not only grow yourself individually as a person who is confident, that is good at networking, that is able to talk to all types of people, good at marketing, because really we all have to market ourselves no matter what program you're in. So that's something to always keep in mind. but it's also an extension to the recruitment side of things for us. So believe it or not, even though you guys are all brand new at Butler Tech, we are already deep into recruitment season for next year. It's really already started. So we've started updating all of the information. Partnership days are about to happen where Miss Tiffany comes out and visits the homeschools. All of those things are getting ready to happen. And the student ambassadors are really the heart of that. So I do want to go over a couple of things that if you look on the website, you'll see these, but I did want to share a couple of kind of what we call the mandatory or the events that we really want you to be at. And when I say mandatory, obviously, if you have a true reason as to why you can't be at something, then it's understandable. But I do want to kind of highlight these. So somebody's not on mute. Let me see if I can figure out who that is. All right. So the couple of things, we do have 2 training sessions in the fall. One of them is for new ambassadors only, so it's all of our sophomores and juniors. And occasionally we pick up a senior or 2 here and there, depending on the program and how we did last year. Sometimes they graduate early or they don't end up coming back. So, but mainly sophomores and juniors. And it's a great time to meet the rest of the new ambassadors and get that first training session under your belt. And that's coming up in October on the 20th. So it will be just a couple of weeks after the new ambassadors are announced. The next one is our all ambassador training. That's when all 100 of us get together. We actually bus you guys down to the public safety complex, one of the other Butler Tech adult education campuses for that one. And that's when we really get into the nitty gritty of career days, of doing small group tours for potential new students, and really talk about, like I said, recruitment and all of the things that go with that. Career days, likely many of you visited on career days, which is typically for our sophomores, came with your class, got to visit all of the different programs at whichever building you chose, and that is over 3 days. So that's the 15th, 16th, and 17th. Those are remote days for everyone else, but we ask that all of the student ambassadors be on campus on those days. And the buses do run on those days for the ambassadors. We also do small group tours. Some of you guys may have met ambassadors when you came in on a tour. We do those on Fridays during our FDEs, and then on Saturdays from 9 to 11, 9 to 12 sometimes, depending. Those are actually really fun, and I'll definitely make sure that Jess talks about that, because Jess rocked out a lot of the SOA tours last year. Just a couple of hours. It is volunteer. You do have to have a ride, but it's a great opportunity for students that really just want to come and see the campus and talk to somebody one-on-one when it's just not quite so hectic like it would be during career days or even an open house. The open house is January 11th. Many of you probably came to that as well. 4 to 7, most ambassadors stay after school, and then you do have to have a ride at 7 o'clock to be picked up for that. Then we have a celebration breakfast. So it's not all work. We have a celebration breakfast on February 1st, right after the applications close. That's during the school day, and we want everybody to be there so that we can celebrate you. And then welcome nights, which you guys all probably just attended not too long ago. So those are the main events. Lily, I'm going to go ahead and have you jump in and talk about what are some of the other things that you have done as an ambassador that kind of fall outside of that list that I just went over.
Okay, so I'm Lily again. As a student ambassador, I've gotten a lot of opportunities. They kind of vary. At our specific campus, NSC, I was able last year to go to Ohio State. This year, we're looking for the FFA convention. And really, we just get a lot of opportunities to sometimes stay after school, but I always think it's a fun time because last year there was only 8 of us on our campus, so it's a lot closer.
Yeah, so and that's one of the things that's a little bit different. Each campus kind of treats their student ambassador program a little bit different as well. So Natural Science Center tends to utilize their student ambassadors for a lot of things, such as leadership conferences like the one that they went to at Ohio State. This year, I'll be taking a group of, I believe there's 15 of the students, the current seniors, to the Anthony Munoz Leadership Conference. And I'm also taking the 5 campus leaders to Columbus for the day to present student ambassadors to other educators in Columbus. So lots of different activities and things that we do kind of outside. Anybody else that's on here, do you have any other activities that you've been involved in that you want to add to? Joshua, have you done any specific tours? Have you done any of the chamber tours?
I don't believe I've done any of the chamber storms, just the small group ones.
Okay. So the other thing that we get asked to do a lot is a lot of the chambers of commerce in Butler County will come and bring business partners. They'll bring their members, just local leaders, and they want to see Butler Tech, want to see what the students have to offer when it comes to just the skills and the things that you all are doing, and then look for partnerships. And what better way for us to do that? Sure, John Graft, our superintendent, could walk around and do that. Of course, I could walk around and do that, but we like to allow students to show off what we do. So sometimes it will literally be a last minute or like the week before where I'll say, hey, everybody, we have this elected official or this group coming from the Chamber of Commerce, and I need this many students that are available during this time to sign up and help us out with the tours. And again, you get training for that. So we're not just throwing you to the wolves, but it is really fun and a neat opportunity to network and talk with adults and highlight not only your program, but your campus. Jess, can you talk a little bit about Q&A for 8th graders? You're still on mute, Jess.
Oh, no. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Like I was saying, this is basically just a Q&A where you talk with middle schoolers that be coming from different schools, and this is just basically just for them to get to know more about you and just more about the school, and you just get like in a way kind of a one-on-one with the middle schoolers, and they will like. In which I feel like it's really nice just because they will ask you some different questions, even if it's like not related to your program, but it's really nice in a way.
So that's with our 8th graders that come through the career exploration lab. And those tours happen like almost every day. So when they come in, we have students on DRL and SOA campuses sign up to work the Q&As. And so it's literally during your Ed Rev time, you come down, you spend 20 minutes talking to the 8th graders. A lot of times people try to come down when their homeschool is going to be there, just so that they can make that connection with you were, a Fairfield student and now you're at Butler Tech, and then you can talk to them. So that is really kind of the overall gist of the things that we do. I will say that the sky is the limit. Our superintendent, assistant superintendents, administrators are very supportive of the student ambassador program. And so any opportunity they can utilize to show you guys off, they do. So it may be even something as simple as I'm working with the news media on an article with specifically about information technology. My go-to person is going to be Joshua. I'm going to call him and say, hey, this reporter needs to talk to somebody about XYZ, and I want you to be the person to give the quote. And so then I would have them reach out to Joshua, and he would probably be the one quoted in the paper. So it's all those kind of things where you guys just become kind of the go-to. You become that ambassador, literally, of your program and of your campus. Before we go any further, do you guys have any questions? And if you don't feel comfortable asking them out loud, you can drop them in the chat. That works too. Any questions you have just about what the ambassadors do? Time commitment is one that we typically get. And like I said, there's only a few required out of the regular school day, those career days and a couple of evenings. But beyond that, the majority of what you do as a student ambassador is in the classroom. Sometimes it's planned out and planned ahead of time, like next Thursday, tomorrow, the 10th grade. If any of you are in the 10th grade academy or the 10th grade career exploration, you all are touring, and those students are going to be coming through, and the student ambassadors are going to be the ones showing them around the campuses. So just an example of another time where you would be able to have a tour, and get to talk to students. Somebody just asked, what if you don't have an ed rev? Can you still help with the Q&A? Yeah, absolutely. If it works in your schedule, you can absolutely do that. And when I say when it works in your schedule, you may just say to your instructor, hey, I have this opportunity to go down as a student ambassador and talk with the 8th graders, and they're from Fairfield. That's my home school. Would it be okay if I go down from, it's typically 12:25 to 12:55? Can I go down and do that? And a lot of times they're going to say, absolutely, take that 20 minutes to go and promote our program and promote Butler Tech. Yes, the other question was, will you continue to be ambassadors your senior year? Yes, you do carry over to your senior year. That's a great question. And if you are a sophomore and chosen your sophomore year, then you get to carry out all the way through. So sometimes I have some students, Bella Satterfield, I don't know if she was able to jump on today or not, but Bella is one of my sophomores this year who is in the green engineering, which is a new program this year. And so she is the one and only right now, well, and Lily, because she's she's green engineering and vet, but she's kind of like one of the first ambassadors for the green engineering program because she was already trained as a sophomore. So yes, you do get to carry over. We do ask, and this will be in the guidebook this year, you got to keep your grades up. You can't be in academic trouble, and you can't have attendance issues. So, and that, I'm going to be honest, I'm not your Friday night football coach that checks GPAs every week. I just simply don't have that kind of time. But what will happen is if one of your instructors is having an issue with your grades, or your guidance counselor may reach out to me and say, hey, Lily is really struggling in classes and we need to have a talk with her, then I would be able to sit in and we would be able to say, you know, Lily, we may need to put you on probation until you get this grade up, or you may not be able to do Q&As until, you know, you're able to get your GPA up, etc. So we would kind of create a plan. There's no set GPA or anything, but we would create a plan. And then obviously if you get in trouble at school, then that's a discussion we have to have as well. You don't want to get in trouble. We can have student ambassadors getting in trouble. What other questions? Anything? Any specific questions for the ambassadors that are on here? All right. Let's see. Who else do I have on here? Myra, talk to me about where the application was released today. I don't know if you've actually seen the new application, but talk to me about your application last year. How did you feel going into the application process? And if all of you haven't looked yet, it is a video application. So Myra will tell you a little bit about kind of how she prepared for it and what she did for her application. On the spot, Myra.
Alrighty, so as she said, I'm Myra. I'm in healthcare science, and so last year, I believe it's still the same as it was last year. You would go through this video process. You would see demonstration videos of what you would say, or like basically what the question is, and they would ask you this question, and you were allowed to redo the video as much as possible. When I had mine, I redid it about 50,000 times because I just like I did it right. So you watch the video and then they'll ask you a certain question and you can press record, and then you'll be able to record the video and just answer the question. And it's really simple. I feel like it's better than writing about yourself, and talking is more easier than writing. So yeah,
awesome. Yeah, so it is a video application, and as she said, there's, I believe, 4 questions, and it's essentially just about yourself. And that's what you're going to be doing as a student ambassador. You're going to be answering the, why did you decide to come to Butler Tech? Why did you want to be a student ambassador? Tell us a little bit about what you hope to do with your skills after Butler Tech. Those are things that potential students and parents are going to ask you every time you give a tour, and that's really what we want to know about you. The great thing about a video for me is, as I mentioned, we choose, in the end, I'll have about 100. So you figure about 50 new ambassadors this year, and that gives me the opportunity to see your professionalism, how prepared you are, your responses, but also your ability to communicate. So do take the time, as Myra said, if you need to redo it, it'll allow you to redo those videos several, as many times as you want, really. So take the time, look at the questions beforehand, think about, don't read it because we want you to be genuine. Don't read your answers, I mean, we want you to be genuine, but at the same time, think about your answers before you jump on there and really take the time to prepare for kind of a mini interview. What questions do you have about the application? Has anybody looked at the application yet? You've logged on and looked at it and said, uh-oh, and then you stopped. Yeah, typically what happens. So the application is open. Somebody just said, where is the application? Where do we find it? Everybody who was invited to this via actually everybody through School Messenger today will get the link at 3:30 today. You can also go to the website. It's on the website. You can go in the news section. You can go to any of our social media. It's on there. It's pretty simple to find if you just kind of look for it. If you scroll to, or if you go to our website and scroll down to, it says news and updates. It's the very first one. You'll see the student ambassador logo. Click there, and then you'll see where the app is linked. And it's through Video Ask is what it's called.
And for the bioscience, I believe that they sent theirs to their email. So
okay, awesome.
if
Yeah, and
they're
sometimes the
in bio.
administrators, sometimes the administration will grab it and send it directly. Everyone that was invited to, everybody was invited to this, but if you got an email from me saying, hey, thank you for your interest, or hey, your instructor recommended you, here's a link to the Zoom, which is how you probably all got here, then you're also going to get an email today at 3:30 that's going to come back out and say, here you go, here's the application. Somebody asked when it's due. It is going to be due on Monday, September 25th at 4 p.m. So if you are a complete procrastinator and you wait until 3 o'clock when you get home on the 25th, you have an hour, but they are time stamped. So anything after 4 o'clock that day will not be included in the evaluation of the videos. There was one more question somebody just popped down there. Let's see. Do I have to record it through my school computer? Yeah, you can do the application on your phone. However, whatever is easiest, it'll allow you to do either. So if you want to use, it looks like a lot of you guys are on your laptops, but if you want to use your phone, you can do it that way as well, whatever works best. Think about what's in the background. Think about not having your, I don't know, your little brother picking his nose in the background or whatever. Like, just, think about being professional. Think of it as an interview, and definitely impress us. We do have a rubric that we use. And when I say we, it's the marketing department. So it's all of my team. We sit down, we go through the applications and go through the rubric, and then decisions are made. And I will say, I believe, I'm going to look at my calendar, that we will make the announcement the week of October the 2nd. So it'll be the first week of October, we'll make the announcement, and the first training is on that first FDE, or one of the first FDEs, on the 20th. And once you are chosen, you'll automatically be added to those FDE trainings. So you guys probably haven't even gotten really deep into how you sign up for 5th day experiences and all that kind of stuff, but it'll be added to your schedule. I'll go in and do that, and you'll be added to new ambassador training and then to all ambassador training. Something new we're doing this year that I think is kind of exciting. First of all, you do get a pullover. Joshua, I think, do you have yours on? Joshua, yep. So, Jess has hers on too. So you get a really nice pullover. They say student ambassador on the back. They have the student ambassador logo. And then depending on which campus you're on, you actually get the campus patch on your sleeve, which is kind of cool. So it kind of is a little bit personalized for your campus. You also get a name tag. And then on the first, new ambassador training this year, we've always done this in the end, and we're going to change it up this year. So all of the sophomores and juniors, you guys will get pinned. We have a student ambassador pin that you can put on like a lapel, or if you're in a CTSO and you end up wearing scrubs or something like that, you can always put on your student ambassador pin. You guys will get pinned at your first meeting for the new ambassador training. The seniors don't have theirs yet, so they will actually get pinned at the all ambassador training this year. So typically we do that at the very end, and we're changing it up so that you guys can wear those for 2 years. Training is, I believe, let me look. Trainings are a morning session, so they're from 8 to 10:30. And one thing you'll find out about me is I always try to feed you. So that morning we'll definitely have probably Panera or something yummy for breakfast. What if we have to be in our labs on Friday because cosmetology? Yep, I will. I would say that I will talk to your instructor. It's really important that they have ambassadors. Right now, Cosmo in particular doesn't have any ambassadors because none of their juniors carried over. So when that happens, I will talk to them and we'll come up with an alternative plan. So great question. And those are the things where I hate to say mandatory because sometimes I understand that it's just not possible, but that's when communication is key and we can work through those things. When did the meeting start? Like if after the ambassadors get chosen? So the 2 big meetings, as I said, are October 20th and then November 3rd. We have periodic meetings throughout the year. It's hard to get all 100 of you together because as you'll see when we do the all ambassador training, it requires buses and all kinds of finagling to make that happen. However, you'll also find that a lot of times will try to stop by your campuses and just meet with the ambassadors at that campus. So for example, like just last week, I sat down with the Natural Science Center ambassadors and had a meeting in one of the huddle rooms. So you do get to see me and I pop in when things are coming up on our schedule, but it's typically in between those trainings and our all ambassador events, it'll be campus based. What time is things on the 20th? They are both in the mornings. So again, if you end up being chosen and you have a conflict, you'll just need to get with me and I will let you, we'll make arrangements. And then someone else said, where will we meet for the 2 main meetings? The first one is at School of the Arts. So if you are a bioscience or a NSC student and you ride the bus in the morning to DRL, you just stay there in the morning. And then once we have decided who the ambassadors are, I'll take a look at how many of them may need transportation and I'll arrange for your transportation to your campus after the training. If you are a driver, then there's a form you can fill out to say I can drive. So we'll handle all of that, but I try to take care of transportation in the mornings and throughout the school day as much as possible. There are just some of those events, like I said, that just don't allow for when we're here or we're at school till 7 o'clock for open house, obviously we'll need you to have a ride at that time. Great questions, you guys. I really appreciate it. Is there anything else that you can think of? Anything that did I miss anything in the questions? Do you guys have any more questions again, I'm talking about how you guys want to hear from the students, and Joshua and Lily, Myra, Jess are on here so that they can answer your questions. So feel free to ask something specifically to a student ambassador and I can let one of them hop in and answer as well. Great question. So what do the tours look like for aviation students? And when you say that, do you mean like if you are giving like a small group tour? Wyatt, is that what you mean? I don't know where you are on the screen, so. Oh, I see you. Can you just nod? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, so we schedule those a little bit differently because obviously that's one program, and so a student has to sign up to see the aviation facility separately. A lot of times they'll come to D. Russell Lee so that they can see where academics would take place, and then later, like an hour later, we schedule them for aviation. And those are all set up kind of separately. So there's always an adult there if, let's say it's a Saturday. So there's always an adult on campus with you. So usually myself, one of the other mentors, Jason Michael Miller or Tiffany Jones, or one of the career exploration agents will be there. And then, so for example, aviation, Wyatt, we would encourage them to come to D. Russell Lee, see where academics take place. Then we would send them to the airport and you and someone else would be there to tour just the airport. Let's say I don't have a ride for a day. Will that be an issue? Again, the main thing is if you end up not having a ride, let me know. Communication is key. We use Team App, which is, if you're not familiar with Team App, some of you may be because of homeschool stuff, but Team App is a place where you can go and check the news. You can check calendar events. We post pictures on there. And I've gotten into the habit of everything that I post to Team App, I also email it to you. So as long as you're on Team App, you're going to get the email, and then you can always click on it, go back to Team App and look at other things. You can comment on there and do things like that as well. So, but the main thing is communication. If you have an issue, I mean, again, you guys are doing this because you want to be involved and because you want to better your leadership skills, not because it's a part-time job. So I understand if you have a conflict, we'll work around it. That's why there's 100 of you, right? Because I need coverage in a lot of different places at once. But if there is an issue where you have a conflict, then the main thing is just to get in touch with myself or one of the other mentors, and we'll take care of it. We'll make arrangements, or we'll approve, that you can't be there. If we can drive, do we have to ride the bus? No, you don't have to ride the bus. It just kind of depends on what the event is. So for example, the Anthony Munoz Leadership Conference, everybody rides the bus because it's kind of like a field trip. Everybody goes to first period, then everybody comes and gets on the bus, and we go to the leadership conference. For public safety, for example, the day that it's our all ambassador meeting, you'll see that a lot of the seniors will just meet us there that morning. They'll come directly there, they'll drive there, we'll do training, and then they'll either drive back to their campus, or they may be done for the day, depending on what the rest of their FDE looks like. So those are things that once we get to that point, I do have permission slips that you guys will fill out and submit to me that give you permission to be a self-driver in those situations. So yeah, we work around those things. What day are most of the ambassador events? It really kind of just varies. Honestly, it's not any certain day. Like I said, most of it is during the school day. So, and I will say this too, juniors are super important, because as we get to later this fall into the winter, and then especially in the spring, so many of our seniors are on co-ops. They're not in the building anymore. And so they're out working and making money. And so when it comes time for those tours in the middle of the school day, my seniors aren't there. And so that's when you guys have had your training at that point. You're getting your feet wet, and that's when we really fall back on the juniors to really help pick up and do those tours that I was talking about with like the elected officials or the news media or whoever it may be that's coming through. Let me see what other questions. These are great questions, you guys. There's my son. Oh, and my dog. Sorry about that. Okay, go. I'm on a meeting. My daughter did go to the School of the Arts. She graduated a couple years ago. She's also a career exploration agent, so you may see her sometimes. And then that's my 15-year-old son. What qualities are you looking for in the application? Great question. So I would say quality-wise, well thought out answers, confidence, professionalism, be personable. Really think about what you would want to see when you come to tour Butler Tech. You would want someone who is confident, who's passionate, who is able to comfortably talk about their own story and share their journey of how they chose Butler Tech, of what they're doing now in their lab, of what they hope to do with the skills after. So, and it's okay, even if, some of those things you may not really know the answer to yet. You may not know exactly what you want to do after Butler Tech, but to confidently say, I'm still figuring it out. That's one of the reasons that I'm at Butler Tech, is to try this and then learn new skills and figure out where it can lead me. And as long as you're confident and passionate about that, that's going to make for a great tour guide and a great ambassador of the program. Let's see. Most activities during the mornings, majority of things are during the school day. Some are after school, but almost everything is during the school day. There are a few Saturdays, but you get to choose if only Fridays work out for you. You have to do 50% of the small group tours. So there will be students that are able to jump in on Saturdays and do those, especially for you juniors that don't drive. So 50%, there's 4 of those. So that means you do 2. That means if you do 2 Fridays, then that covers your 50%. How many ambassadors are selected for each program? That's okay. 2 juniors for every program. There'll be 2 sophomore Career Exploration Academy and 2 for the BIT program this year. So 4 sophomores total and 2 juniors for every program. What other questions? I'm bad at wait time, so I'm going to give you guys just another second or two so that you can think. All right, so let me give you just recap a couple of things. Application is open. You probably just got it in your, I sent it to myself, so let me see. Yep, looks like you should have gotten the email with the link to the application in your inbox. If you didn't for some reason, then check the website, check our social media. It's on Instagram. There's a link in our bio. If you click on the link in the bio, it'll take you to the application. And the deadline for the application is Monday, September 25th at 4 p.m. So make sure you get it in before then so that you make it under the deadline. They are time stamped, so at 4 o'clock we won't be accepting any additional applications. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, one other thing, if you have a question, and a great question. Somebody just said, if there's already an ambassador for a program since they were in 10th Grade Academy, do you still take 2 people? Yes, they just get a bonus. So for example, Bella is in green engineering and we'll still take 2 new green engineering this year. So there'll be 3, really 4, because Lily is a dual. She's in 2 programs. So there's green engineering is like hype because they have more ambassadors than anybody else. But dental is our other sophomore this year, Katie Carver, and she is in dental now as a junior. And so we'll still choose 2 juniors for the dental program. Great question. Finally, last but not least, if you guys have questions, email me, and this goes for anything really. Email questions@butlertech.org. That always goes to me. So on any emails that you see come through School Messenger, it's going to say at the bottom, questions, email questions@butlertech.org. If you can't remember my name, if you can't remember my email address, email questions@butlertech.org and it will come to me. All right. And then somebody just asked, how long should the answers be? Usually they're around 60 seconds, maybe 90 seconds, depending on how much detail and how much you talk. The very first one is going to be simply to introduce yourself, your homeschool, your program. So obviously that one's going to be pretty short, but the rest of them, I think it cuts you off at 2 minutes. So plan accordingly, under 2 minutes. Somebody else just said, if we're accepted as an ambassador, are we automatically put into student leadership? Student leadership is something different. I believe that's D. Russell Lee, if I don't know who asked that, but D. Russell Lee has a student leadership. There is a lot of crossover. So a lot of our ambassadors are also on the student leadership team, and that's okay. But student leadership, as I said, they are really part of the recruitment team. So a lot of what you do, especially as we get into this fall, are centered around those career days, around welcome nights, around open house, all of those things. So a little bit different than I believe the student leadership team tends to do, like the fall ball and some of the things that happen just on D. Russell Lee's campus. But you can be on both. There is overlap. Somebody just said, I don't have any more questions, but thank you. This has been helpful. Awesome. I'm so glad that it was helpful. This is the first time we've ever done one of these Zooms. So I'm glad that so many of you showed up. I literally told the campus ambassador or the campus leaders when I asked them to be on this, that it could just be us talking to each other. So I'm really glad that a bunch of you guys were able to hop on and ask your questions and you feel more confident. And hopefully we get lots of applications from you guys. We're excited to have more ambassadors on board and to get you guys trained and ready to dive into the recruitment season. So if you have questions, remember, email me at questions@butlertech.org. And if not, enjoy your Wednesday evening. Bye, guys.